Hello people, this is Nitin Singh and today we're going to talk about AngularJS building blocks. And if you like it, please do subscribe and like my channel. Okay, so what you glimpse if you just read this word building blocks. If you can glimpse of building any kind of building, maybe. So what are the things that just came in front of your eyes? If I'm building a any kind of flat, so I need a base where I can put my bricks to make a building. That the same concept used in AngularJS as well. Let's see how that looks. Okay, as you can see in this picture that there is a module and which is holding all of the things like directives, controllers, factory services, filters. These are all the building blocks that are required for an AngularJS application. So the main thing that is required is the module which hold all of these functions. Okay, so let me uh, quickly give an example how things work. Okay, so I have just added an index.html file here. Let's just quickly add some HTML elements. So as you can see, we have added this HTML elements. Now as you can see, I have added an ng app directive to my HTML page. What this ng app directive do? It tells the Angular app that this is the root element of the AngularJS application and bootstrap my Angular application from this element. So writing here my intention was to put in a global scope. As you can see, it will be covered from this HTML tag to the closing of HTML. So it will have a whole scope throughout this element tag of HTML. You can put it from anywhere. You can even put over here as well. ng app. This will also work. So there is nothing wrong in that. But for better practice, I even do write this ng app over here. So let's see how to run the basic Angular application. If you think this is a little bit more HTML tags, let's remove it and add the basic only basic tags. Okay, here we are with the basic tags. Let's add a CDN for AngularJS, and I just already opened the AngularJS documentation. I will just copy this CDN for AngularJS and put in my HTML page. Now let's test it whether it works or not. To test it, you can just add a variable or any kind of number 5 plus 6. This will work. And if everything is proper here, we have just added three things. First is the ng app directive. Then we have added a script tag for our AngularJS library, and then we have just added the braces for addition. If things are proper, it will show us the addition of 5 plus 6. That should be the 11. Okay, let's see. Let me boot up my server. This control tilde sign to start up the terminal and just put http server. If you don't have any other server to start, you can just install an npm package using the command npm install HTTP server. This will install your basic HTTP server so that you can browse any of the files, HTML files. Okay, so let me boot up my server, HTTP dash, and to run that server is the command is HTTP dash server. So it will start a localhost server on your system so that you can browse any of the file you want in this current directory, that is in Angular basics. Okay, any file between under this folder will can be browsed through this localhost URLs. Let's start it. Okay, as you can see, we have just printed that 11. That means our Angular application is working fine. These are the basic minimum setup for Angular. Going forward, we will be adding more of the stuffs, like like I talked already about modules. Let's add module to our application. For that, I will add a JS file. Let's call it app.js. So, the syntax for adding a module is very simple. Uh, um, if you don't want even to write, there are snippets that can write for you, that are ng1 module, and you have all done. You have even not write any single thing, or even you have to not remember the syntax. Better you understand the concept, not the syntax. But yes, being a developer, you should know the syntax as well. So for that, I will remove this. As you can see, there was a function scope in that snippet. Let me write it again. So why we write this? Why we write this function scope? As I will show that create a scope, that whichever thing I write over here, whichever, that can be anything, that can be anything, and that will be not accessed out of the scope of this function. That's the main reason behind writing this function and a function scope. So let's add a module. For that, I will write angular dot module. The first parameter is the name of my module. What should be the name of my module? Anything. Let's keep it simple. App. And the another parameter which take is a array of dependencies. I will speak about these dependencies afterwards. For now, let's just add this module to our application. So this is the name of a module. Just add this name of module to our ng app directory. Okay. Every application have their own module, and every anything, any Angular a single page application, you will find that the Angular start with a root element and it has a base module. So as you can see in this picture, there is a module can hold functions as well as other another modules as well. If you are creating some bigger application, enterprise level application, you will see, even I will put in my examples how this modular approach works. So for now, let's see how things work. I have added a module. Okay, whenever my application will run, it will be hold, everything will be held by this module. It can be anything, controller, it can be any routing, it can be directive, it can be filters. So let's see by adding some how we add functions to our main module. For that, I will add a new, let's add a controller to our module. Let's see how we add a controller to our module. For that, the syntax is very easy. You can even use code snippets. For that, I would refer code snippets for from the John Papa. This is a snippet created by John Papa. Name is Angular one. If you search in the extension in the marketplace, you will find it easily. You just need to install and just see the commands what to use. Very easy commands. Just you need to write ng1 and controller. You will and whole controller code will be there. Let's write ng1 controller. As you can see, every code is here. So you just need to write what was the module name. So our module name was app, and what should be my controller name? Let's give control name home for just for example. It can be anything. You can see this is the standard approach how we write the controller, how we just put these dependencies. These dependencies can be anything, it can be whatever, maybe scope, maybe it's services. Okay, so if you are new, you might be wondering that what is this inject, uh, or what is here. Let me start from the beginning. This is the controller name that we specify, and the corresponding function which is over here is denoting that particular function for that controller, that is home controller. And now if you wondering what is dollar inject, okay, uh, in a bigger application we do minify this all these JS files into a single file, so it can be taken into build process, so that if things are minimized, it can be easily loaded into browser. So if I put some dependency over here, even if I remove this now, things will work properly. If I put something like scope over here, what will it will run nicely, it will not give you any error. But when you minify this thing, this scope may be replaced by some short version like a. And for these things, the Angular team has provided us with a dollar inject property, so that if we add anything over here, it will not break broken at the time of minification. So you no need to worry about those things. So this is the standard recommended way to write and put your dependencies in your controller. Okay, let's access the members. You can we will get with this as well, with this code how they have written the VM and this in the latter sections. For now, let's use a scope variable. Just put any of the name, and let's bind this to a view. Okay, so if I want to load that controller, I need to define that controller in my HTML tags. So how to do that? I just have to write this tag ng and controller, and I have to specify which controller I want to load here, and that is the name of that controller is home controller. So I'll just copy it, paste it. Okay, so if I want to you print this variable name, that is AngularJS, I just have to put, or I better I do this. Okay, let me do this first. I just need to put the name of title. Let's see how it looks. Before that, let me add those files to my page. Now let's start our browser to see the changes. Okay, as you can see, right now we have our AngularJS printed over here. Let me maximize my screen. Okay, so that means your scoop is getting printed over here. That means your controller variable is printed over here. That means you have added your controller to your HTML tag. Okay, so this is the basic thing that we do with our Angular applications. These are the basic building blocks how I've added. The same way we add services, directives, filters, and we will go through these things in our next session where we will be adding routing to our modules, how things work. For now, and that's all for today. Thank you very much. Have a good day.